Well, most of the fans were surprised with a scene from chapter 18. In this scene we can see how Kid Buyeon appears, but also adult Buyeon appears. This was something really confusing that until now leaves us wondering what really happened there. There are still 2 more chapters left to finish this great series, and we hope that in these next chapters we can get many answers, such as that strange scene. In the meantime, the fans continue to speculate many things about the characters in order to make sense of things that have not been very clear. One of the characters that we don't know much about her life is Buyeon, and there are several theories about this young blind girl. But what would you think if I told you that Buyeon doesn't really exist? That's why today I'm going to talk about Buyeon is dead. But first remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you'll be among the first to see our content. Well, before we can explain the scene where little Buyeon appeared, we must explain the beginning of everything. One of the most important things is to know that Buyeon died in her mother's womb and Jin Ho-young went to Jangin to ask him to resurrect her. Now, what did he resurrect her with? Of course with the ice stone. Who was the one who managed to make the ice stone appear in the beginning? Sol-ran. This is very important to remember so that everything makes more sense. It is believed that when Jangin used the ice stone to resurrect Buyeon, he installed Sol-ran's soul with it and a kind of duality was created in Buyeon's body. This is similar to the duality we know, or have confirmed that ensures that Nak-soo and Buyeon are in the same body. We know that Buyeon, since she was a child, has shown that she has incredible powers that are greater than those of her family. Choyeon even once said that she had already mastered her mother's powers since she was a child. But why is it that out of Jin Ho-young's 2 daughters, only Buyeon is the one who has incredible powers? Okay, we could say that she might have them because the father is very powerful, and since we don't know the real father yet, we could assume that her powers are a family inheritance. However, Choyeon herself spoke of her sister as being a priestess, and Jin-moo himself once said that if she were alive she would have become a priestess. So we think that her powers are not inherited, but rather they are related or very similar to Sol-ran's powers. There is one part of Buyeon's story that is not very clear. What really happened when Buyeon fell into the lake? You know she lived, because of course there are images of her in the series. We also know that she was raised by an older lady, but then she passed away and that's why she was sold. But as a 10-year-old girl who is blind, she falls into a lake and is able to survive. We could think that maybe she used her powers, or maybe we could think that someone rescued her, but this is very strange. Let's remember that at that time Buyeon was 10 years old and had powers, but since she was very young, we could think that she didn't know how to use them well, because every person must train a lot to master them. There is a theory that when Buyeon fell into the lake she really died and then was resurrected thanks to Sol-ran's soul. This is much like when we have seen that Nak-soo is in danger of death. Buyeon takes control of her body. To understand this we must remember that when Buyeon was born, she was revived with the ice stone and automatically Sol-ran's soul was also put into the body. In other words, when Buyeon was born, she had 2 souls, hers and Sol-ran's. Now, following the theory that Buyeon died when she fell into the lake, it is believed that since she died, it was Sol-ran's soul that gave life to her body, and that is why she lived. This could explain why after she fell into the lake she did not look for her parents or try to return home, because although she is blind we know that Buyeon was born with the ability to find places through energy. We might think that she did not return because she was afraid that Jin-moo would hurt her, but she only had to tell her parents so that they would take care of her. With this information we understand that Buyeon did not look for the parents not because she had lost her memory, but because she was not Buyeon, but Sol-ran. Now, this may explain why little Buyeon and adult Buyeon appeared to Nak-soo. I think the image of the kid Buyeon was really Buyeon before falling into the lake, but the image of an adult Buyeon is Seo-ran. Maybe these images were presented so that we could understand that the 10-year-old Buyeon is really Buyeon and then the adult Buyeon is someone else, because otherwise, it wouldn't make much sense to present two images of the same person. Something that was also surprising was when little Buyeon said, "Now we won't lose the ice stone again." I mean, I'm talking in plural. It could be that Buyeon was talking to Sol-ran, and that would explain why she spoke in plural. The question you may be asking is, why did Sol-ran let Nak-soo enter her body? We can think that she needs to share her body with another soul in the same way she shared her body for 10 years with Buyeon. That's why she intervened in Nak-soo's soul shift. We can also think that Sol-ran did not choose Nak-soo's soul by chance. There could be the possibility that Sol-ran knew Nak-soo for a long time and planned everything. Here would enter again the philosophy of yin and yang. Perhaps there are souls that must be connected in order to fulfill a purpose. And if we ask ourselves other reasons why Sol-ran wanted Nak-soo to be in her body, we can assume that it was so that she could regain her sight and be able to have physical strength. We know that in the whole series Nak-soo's purpose is to get the ice stone to regain her powers, and in chapter 18, Nak-soo said that she feels good because she already regained her powers thanks to the ice stone. But what would be the purpose of all this? It could be the fact that Sol-ran wanted to take the ice stone away from Jin-moo and be able to get it back first to avoid chaos. It could also be that this is all about something that fate itself predicted in order to remove the ice stone. It could be that the only way to remove the ice stone from the world is for Sol-ran, who created it, to regain possession of it, and she herself sacrifices herself and performs an act of suicide so that the stone can die along with her. In this way her soul would disappear along with the ice stone, and it would be the perfect way for Nak-soo to be released and returned to her own body. Of course, because there is another theory that Nak-soo's body was not really burned. According to the information on social networks and in some news, it is very likely that in the second season Mu-Deok's role will not be there but Nak-soo's, so if Sol-ran dies, then Mu-Deok's body will die, and it would make a lot of sense. But another doubt could arise because in chapter 18 when they were about to strangle Mu-Deok, who we now think is really Sol-ran, she woke up from fainting and said "Mother." How do we explain this, if Mu-Deok is Sol-ran? Well, it may be that at that time the ice stone was being used, and we also saw that Nak-soo talked to little Buyeon and big Buyeon, because in that same way little Buyeon's soul took control in order to save Sol-ran. What do you think of this theory? Leave your comment here. If you like this video, like and share it with your friends.